Who wouldn't want to be unreasonably good? Let's talk about that. Folks, welcome to the Baseball Brewhaha. We're at it again. Adam, you posed a very interesting question. So I'm going to give you the floor and allow you to spit some knowledge, and we'll take it wherever the trail leads.
I don't know if I'm gonna spit much knowledge, but I'm gonna let people crawl into my brain a little bit here because I started a new job. I work in schools. And if anyone's familiar with schools, even when you went to school, you took like 10 subjects.
Mhm.
But if you work in a school, there's like 20 to 50 things that you could do and that you have to work on at any point in time. It's a lot to keep in the brain. And for those of you remembering back to school and you're like, I took 10 classes at a time, how am I supposed to remember that stuff? Yeah, I mean, it's the same as an adult. So I've been thinking about focus and how one of the challenges that schools can face as organizations, and not only schools, but lots of organizations, is lack of focus. You trying to do too many things
Mhm.
and you don't do any of them particularly well. So I'm thinking about as I enter in my job this year, there are a lot of things I could choose to focus on. And I've been thinking about, is there one thing, maybe two, but ideally just one thing that I can commit to being unreasonably good at?
Mhm. When
And that is the question. That is what we're doing today.
so when you say unreasonably, because usually that word gets used
Hmm.
in a different sort of context.
It does.
So what do you mean? What, like, in favorite our generation speak? Could you unpack that?
Could you unpack that? Okay. Well, if we're gonna hit the Gen Alpha, we're gonna pick one thing. Okay. We're gonna pick one thing. We're gonna riz it up, no cap. It's gonna be OP. And we're gonna take down anybody who tries to step up and be an op. Okay?
Wait,
That's
is it what's the diff between an op and an OP?
OP is your overpower.
Yeah, I get that. I know that.
Op is your oppositional.
Opposite.
You're my opponent. Okay?
Yeah. Okay.
No, okay. So now we got the lingo out of the way here.
Hmm.
So one, okay, you're right. Unreasonable is sort of like this negative thing. And in a way, it sort of carries that forward, but only a little bit, in that it would sort of be my aim that I would pursue uh, greatness, I guess,
Hmm.
goodness, pursue goodness with such ferocity that someone would say, you are being unreasonable. No one is expecting that. Why are you putting that on yourself? That's what I mean by unreasonably good. Could I
Yeah.
deliver on something that someone would say,
Hmm.
really? Put that much work into that?
Yeah. Yeah. So you have this sort of piece of that that is, here's my job description,
Yeah.
and then I'm going, at a minimum, I'm going next level.
Yeah.
But it might be, you know, depending on how that unfolds, might be a couple
Hmm.
levels.
Yeah.
So that's how maybe I might sort of for average show, you might put it that way.
Hmm.
Um, but it is a different level to just like, yeah. So there's that part of it. Then the other part of it I'm thinking of is, you've got a family, um, you got other obligations. So, you know, there, as you're aware, and I think most people are aware, there can be a unhealthy balance of like, I work 80 hours a week and
Yeah.
I'm not there with my family. Sometimes you have to do that for a time. Um, Sometimes that can come up. I'm fortunate. I don't have to do that like really ever. But some of that I think is at least in my particular work is because I plan ahead.
Hmm.
Make plans. Sometimes, look, I'm not gonna no judgment on people working an 80. Um, Sometimes you got to do it, especially if you're a business owner. Um, but um, but there can be some unhealth there. So you got to
Hmm.
kind of like, how do I do
Yeah.
both of those things? I think you're right though, that you don't have to look at it and say like, I think where people get into the trouble is when you were talking about, hey, I got at least 50 things that I could do.
Hmm.
When they try to do unreasonably good at all of them is
Yeah.
when you really get yourself in a spot. But my experience, I have a somewhat limited dabble experience in kind of trying to focus on one to like five things. Some of them are work, some of them are home, that kind of thing. If you just like every morning, you like just really basic, even just focus on them for a few minutes, it is amazing how next level you go without even really trying that hard.
Hmm.
Just by saying, look, I'm committed to um, doing X, being this kind of person or whatever. Just doing that is really powerful in getting you to the next level. And I think if you kind of build on that, it would just go keep you moving without having to like rearrange your whole life and like neglect other things that are important.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, this is where focus comes in, just like you're talking about. Like
Mhm.
the reason many things can take a long time is because we're like we're on the phone and we're watching the TV and we got this and we got that and we got everything.
Mhm.
Um, and just how efficient you can be when you're focused. And
Mhm.
so I'm looking forward to see where it goes. I lead a small team.
Mhm.
I'm hoping that we get a little direction together on what's something that we're gonna shoot for unreasonably good
Mhm. Yeah.
and and see where it goes. I have some thoughts of my own about things that I want to put it at the focus for me.
Mhm.
But really where, you and I, okay, we try and connect
Mhm.
talking about to some themes of baseball because this is just the baseball brouhaha,
Yeah.
right? And I think about MLB players
Mhm.
and how unreasonably good at baseball folks are.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Mhm.
And it takes focus and commitment and day after day after day. And I don't feel like it, but I got to do it anyway. Sort of a commitment.
Mhm.
And it 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 serves as a little bit of inspiration for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I get I don't think about it necessarily top of mind. I think it can be easy to look at it and be like, oh, they're out there having fun and they're just naturally gifted and all, and there's some truth to that. Like there's these guys are great athletes, but at the same time, um, every one of these guys, every one of them, even like the 26th man on the roster that you think should be DFA'd immediately, Dylan Moore, um, um, are are unreal baseball players, and they put in an just inordinate amount of work, especially during the season, but even in the off season, eating, eating right, exercising, um, working on all the little individual skills. And I kind of did my little Dylan Moore cough thing, but um, that guy, like you look at him and be like, Mariners can do without him. Like, you understand the dude can play 7 positions and he's got to be prepared to play all of those positions on any given night. Um, Plus swing the bat, plus run the bases. Um, and he's been pretty dreadful this year, but the amount of work like that a guy like Dylan Moore puts in, and then you look at the absolute stars, Shohei Ohtani, top of the list. Um, you would just like cry if somebody asked you one day to go do what Shohei Ohtani does for preparation. I don't know if you'd make it. I don't know if I love baseball. I don't know if I'd make it. These guys are insane in the way that they prepare. And it's funny when we both have kids that want to be elite athletes to some degree, and they're like, so and you chuckle a little bit when they're like, I want to be a professional athlete, and you're like, well, let's go out and play, and they're like, nah, I'm good, and like my son has actually really done a lot this year in particular to play, but it's just funny when I actually worked on some like just really specific like drills with him that are nothing more than just a drill, you know. And he loved it, which was great. But it's like, dude, Major League Baseball players do this one drill where like short hops, fielding grounders, this thing for like an hour at least every day. And it's like, I think it's easy to miss. You watch it on TV and you're like, oh, I
Yeah.
could have got that ground ball, or I could have hit that pitch or whatever. When you watch it on TV in particular and from that angle from center field, it looks like you could hit it. Sorry. No, you can't.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think too about I don't know that this quote originated from
Hmm.
Kobe Bryant, but he did talk about it one time about the difference between an amateur and a professional. We're
Hmm.
talking about being unreasonably good at something.
Hmm.
And what he said was an amateur does it until they get it right.
Hmm.
And but pro does it until they can't get it wrong. So to your point about the drills, the ground ball drills every day,
Hmm.
they have really just they're really just training muscle memory and
Yeah.
body control
Hmm.
and mindset, really mindset as well.
Hmm.
So that when the ball comes to them, they their natural what has become their natural thing to do is the right thing to do.
Hmm. Yeah.
And that is that for sure, that's one of the separators for sure, is that
Hmm.
level of I'm going to do this. I'm going to shoot a layup, a form layup
Hmm.
in basketball terminology here. Or I'm going to throw a baseball with the form that I want.
Hmm.
I'm going to play catch,
Hmm.
throwing with my form
Hmm.
100 times a day, 200, 300, whatever amount that it takes until
Hmm.
I can't do it any other way.
Yeah.
It would feel wrong to do it a different way.
Yeah. 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 And it's just, it's crazy the amount of time that it takes. And yeah, that's an interesting thing of what you said. I hadn't heard that quote before, but an amateur does it till they do it right. Um, because you kind of, I think it's easy to think like, well, I did it right one time, so now I can move on to the next thing. And then
Hmm.
you look at professional athletes, and they are every single day doing that thing over and over and over and over, that like you would look at it and be like, shouldn't you work on something else? Shouldn't
Yeah,
you work on something like a little harder than that? And they don't. I mean, they literally don't. I mean, they do, but they literally every day focus on the absolute fundamentals.
yeah. The
And
basics.
yeah, so it did kind of get me thinking about like, what if you're someone that's um not, maybe you're not in a job that you want to be in for a long period of time, um and maybe it takes, maybe it's something you're wanting to leave because it's stressful, and maybe it's the kind of work you want to do, but the work environment is what you isn't what you want. There could be any number of things. And I've been fortunate to work in an environment where I really enjoy it. I enjoy the work that I actually, the actual work I do. I enjoy the team I'm with, but that hasn't always been the case. And um and I think it can be easy to be like, gosh, I hate this job, and you just kind of show up, do the minimum, which could be good work, could be quality work. Um
Yeah, if you're a pro, I mean, this is the thing too about being unreasonably good is
mhm.
being unreasonably good once you get to a certain level is not that hard because it's all you know how to do. You've trained yourself to do it.
Yeah. Well, and there's so many people out there who are, just doing the job,
Yeah.
is like, that's where we're stopping. And so yeah, the challenge is, if you're in that position, like, how do you, what tools or skills or something do you need to work on to go to that next place? Um and yeah, and really challenge yourself um to do that. I had another thought circling. Oh, the thing I was thinking about here that was kind of circling around was that it's really important in this to really spend some time thinking about what you want, because like, you could spend a lot of time getting good at something, but I think it's going to be a struggle in the long term if you know you don't like that thing. Um, but you spend a lot of time with it. Now, there could be some other advantages with that, like getting experience as a manager or something else where you could level up in a different way. I still think there's value. Um, I I know for sure there's value in growing in these different areas, even if it's a bit uncomfortable. Um, but I think if you want to really align and see that get unreasonably good as something, I think it's something you got to be interested and passionate about, in to some degree. Now, don't hear me doing the whole just do your passion and yeah, that thing. That can work, but I think my experience has been is that as I've worked to get better, my passions have sort of like formed with it. if that makes sense. Like the things that I enjoy sort of form with it, rather than, and some people have a clear vision already. Go for it, right? That hasn't really been me, but my passions have kind of formed as I've um, maneuvered. And I think what happens is when you put some intentionality into it, is you start to see that shift. You just either it continues on the road that you thought it was going to go on to, or oh hey, 7 pieces of the 10 things that I like are in place, but it's now directing me somewhere else. I don't know. Do you want to elaborate on that?
I don't know.
You got
I
anything
don't.
to say? I mean, because you've been in the particular role that you're in,
Yeah.
you enjoy it, you're good at it, um, you thrive in it, you're very skilled in it, and that's taken years and years and years and years for you
Yeah.
to get there. It's not like last year you just had an epiphany.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting is I do like my work. I don't love all parts of my work,
Hmm.
but I think where I have found that I've been uh where I've run into times where I've been most dissatisfied with my work
Hmm.
is the times where there's no focus or there's divided focus or it feels like
Hmm.
um I'm lacking a like a focus. I get yeah, focus. I'm lacking
Hmm.
focus. And that can happen for any number of reasons. And um, for me, as I think back on those times, it's because mostly just me. Like I was not in a place where
Hmm.
I had yet recognized that I had to make the choice for myself to focus. I think most people
Hmm.
who especially work for somebody else are relying on a focus to come from someone else.
Yeah. Right.
And in
Hmm.
schools, that's also true. It comes from the principal or the head of school or
Hmm.
some other leader who's above you in some way.
Hmm.
And I had found myself looking to these other people for focus.
Hmm.
And you have to do that in some way in a
Hmm.
school. Um, and part of the difficulty that I had by over relying on external sources for focus for me was the people I was working most closely with who were determining that focus. There was like turnover every year,
Hmm. Yeah.
and everyone's got a different focus,
Hmm.
and um, it felt challenging. A lot of schools are sort of like plagued by this turnover
Hmm.
problem and retention of not only teachers but administrators as well. And part of part of the problem of that is lack of focus, and part of the reason
Hmm.
of what happens as a result of that turnover is lack of focus. And so um,
Yeah. Hmm.
it can be a challenge. So for me, it kind of it it was a couple years ago really when it really struck for me in a new way that
Hmm.
I've got to take more ownership over my focus and where I'm going.
Yeah, I think in some ways, for me, it's been even within the last year. Like, and I'm even kind of in this spot right now. I've a little had of a wonky summer and been a little out of sorts, if you will, but trying to rethink some of those things and get back into rhythm. Um, but we're in our 40s, so it's not like if you're some whatever age that you can't change something, and like I think there have always been times when I've had focus. I think I feel like it's a gift in some way, but just working hard and showing up and doing good work and trying to go a little bit above and beyond. But even last year I passed the CFP exam, which was a ton of work, and I felt like I don't want to just like go back to what it was before. Like I don't want to study 5 hours a day like I was doing, but for the rest of my life. But I do want that sort of like, how do I continue? How do I build on that? And so
Mm-hmm.
that's been something that's been um good. And so showing up to my work this year in particular, and like, okay, what projects can I sort of just invent out of thin air that would be better for our team? And so, and that's something that like anybody can show up and do. Like I think it'd be pretty rare to find a boss who doesn't want their employees thinking, like bringing an idea, like, hey, I got this idea that could gain this efficiency. If you lay it out, kind of, that's what your boss wants. So, so if you can put that kind of focus in there, and if it's something you came up with, that's going to get you excited about that. And so, anyway.
Yeah, and I'm thinking too, as we're talking about this, like um sometimes it can sort of come across like find your one defining focus for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way,
Uh-uh.
you know? Like
Yeah.
what I choose to be unreasonably good at this year might not be what I choose next year and the year after.
Mm-hmm.
And it might not even be what I choose for the entire year
Mm-hmm.
as well, you know? And so
Mm-hmm.
there are seasons of life. There are shifts in priority that you can and can't control.
Mm-hmm.
Got a family at home, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one of the things that I end up choosing to focus my time to be unreasonably good at is something at home
Mm-hmm.
that allows me
Mm-hmm.
the headspace and the mindset or the free time or something to pursue other things that benefit me in other ways.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, here's an example of that shifting, even in a microscope, a small thing. So I coached my son's baseball team and co-head coach. When we were with that team, our focus was on like the team. We're trying to get better in little pockets. But there's certain drills you have time for, certain ones you don't. Now we're not in season, and my son and actually my other kids too are like, I want to do these drills and stuff. So now we're in a season where we can do like infield specific drills or whatever it might be. So like even the type of coaching that I'm
Hmm.
doing is tailored to a specific season within this year. So you may experience that as well. I think it's a great what you were just talking about. So, well, folks, we got to wrap this thing up, and it's been a fun one. This was a great one. Adam, I love that you brought this topic up because I've been kind of like it's sort of like forward back a little bit. And so I appreciate you bringing this up. It's a great motivator for me, and I hope it is for all y'all. And with
Yeah,
that, oh,
find something, take it, run with it.
take
Something
it.
you have the power over, make a
Mhm.
choice, be unreasonably good.
Be unreasonably good. See you, folks.